Want to know how to easily turn any Divi module into a slider or carousel? While Divi is an excellent page builder, unfortunately it doesn't cater for every functionality needed to build a website. So in this Divi tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can build your own sliders or carousel without needing to buy or install any plugins. I'll also give you the code to copy and show you where to paste it. It couldn't be simpler. Hey there guys, and welcome to this third video in our series where we are using Swiper.js to build out sliders and carousels using Divi modules. I just want to thank all of you that are taking the time out of your day to watch all these tutorials, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this tutorial. I really do appreciate it, and it does mean a lot to me. If you've missed the last two videos in our series, the first one we used the image module to build a full width slider. In the second video, we used blurb modules to create a carousel slider. And in today's video, we'll be using the blog module and creating another carousel slider. If you are looking for other Divi tutorials, please check out this playlist, which should be popping up right about now. So, with all that out the way, let's jump into the video. Before I get into this tutorial, just a reminder, if you've popped onto this video and you haven't watched the first video in this video series, I recommend you do that because you'll see how everything works and how I explain Swiper.js and the plugin I'm using, because I'm not going to do it in these other videos, otherwise the videos are just going to get too long. So I'll leave a card that will pop up now, and you can click on that and watch that first video, and then the second one, and then the third one. Try follow it in the order of the playlist. So we are now going to build our blog carousel slider, and this is going to be a bit different to how we built the other two sliders, in that we can't just stick the swiper code in our columns or our rows. We actually need to inject it using JavaScript into the HTML document of Divi. But you'll see what I mean when we get to it. So I'm going to come to the front end, to the visual builder. Let's do a new section. So these are the two we built so far, the image slider and the blurb section slider. And I'll just show you how it looks on the front end. So this is the image slider where you can scroll through like that. You also have the pagination at the bottom, and then this is our blurb section where you have 3 blurbs showing at a time, and again there's also got the pagination at the bottom. So let's go back to the visual builder. Let's add a new section. Again, we'll just use a regular section, and the row, we only need a 1 column row, and in that row we're going to put first a code module, and this is for our arrows as we've done in the previous videos. So what we can do is save this. I just want to come to I'm actually going to get the layer panel out. It's so much easier to work in that. So this is the blurb section, yeah? I just want to come into this code, yeah? I'll just copy this code, yeah? So guys, just go into that blurb module that we did in the previous video. Just copy the code for the arrow. Otherwise you can just type it out, pause the video here and type it out. Then let's go back to our other code module, and let's paste that in there. And this is going to be for our previous arrow. And if we go to the code pen, and again the code pen is linked in the description, I'm just going to minimize these as we don't need them for today, and we just need the JavaScript. Just make that bigger. So our navigation is over here, and for these classes, for the previous, we need this blog button previous. Let's copy that. Don't copy the dot, just the text, and we're going to take out blurb carousel button previous and just replace it with that. Remember, just leave the swiper button previous in, because that's what gives you the styling of the navigation. And what we can do, let's duplicate that and go in there. And all we're going to do is we're going to change this to next, as well as the swiper button to next. And you'll see now we have the two arrows, or navigation as Swiper.js calls it. Then we need to add another module, so we can click on there to add a new, and we're going to add the blog module. What you can do, you can actually put it in between the two so it just looks orderly. And there is the blog over there. So you guys can go in and style it. What you have to do though is, if I go into the blog module quickly, if I can get in there. There we go. If I go to design, under layout, you need to leave the layout as full width. If you change it to grid, this will not work. So leave it as full width. So I'm going to save that. And now is where all the fun starts. I just want to save this and just show you what's going to happen. So when I come to Swiper.js, we're again going to just use the slides per view demo. I'm going to open the core there. I'm going to scroll down to the HTML here. So if you remember from the previous videos, we need to use the class of swiper, the class of swiper wrapper, and then the class of swiper slide. If we go to the front end and I refresh the page, you're going to see that we cannot do it like we did in the previous videos, because we need to give the blog post, each individual blog post. If I click on this, so you'll see this is the post here, the article. These are the posts. We need to give that a class of swiper slide. And if you go into the Divi builder, because you're using a whole blog module, you don't have the option to add a class specifically for each blog post. You only have options to add classes and IDs for the entire blog module. So to get around that, we need to inject classes into the HTML with JavaScript. But I've got all the code for you. You don't have to worry about how complicated that sounds. It's not that complicated if you know JavaScript, but if you don't, it might sound a bit complicated, but I have all the code. You just have to copy and paste. But what we are going to do, we are going to give this blog module let me just see what I gave it here, an ID. So just copy this ID of DG blog section, just the text, not the hashtag. Let's copy that. Let's go back to the Visual Builder, and in the CSS ID, let's paste this DG blog section. So we do need to put a class in there. Then we can save that. Now, if you remember, if I come to my dashboard, remember we installed this plugin in the first video. Let's click on all snippets. And then I'm going to open the Swiper.js snippet. And here's the JavaScript we've been writing so far. So let's come to the very bottom here, just before the closing script tab. I'm just going to put another comment here, and this is for the blog carousel. And I'll put all the JavaScript code in here. So this one I'm going to just go a bit step by step, although all the code is here. I think just to show you how I'm injecting the classes we need from Swiper.js into the blog post, and you'll see we can't put any of the classes into the rows or sections because we need to give it to the parents. And if we put it in the row or the column, it's far away from the blog post. So yeah, but I'll try to explain it better now as we go through this. So let's grab this first line of code. Let's go to the dashboard, and in the script tag here, let's paste that first line of code. And I'm just going to explain to you what this code is doing. So we're naming a variable called blog container. And what we're doing, we are selecting, if you remember, our blog module, which we gave a ID of DG blog section. And then we are targeting this class that Divi creates, which is ETPB Ajax pagination container. If I go to the front end and we inspect this, we can see here's the class here. So we need to inject, because these are going to be our swiper slides, the individual blog posts over here. We need to put a class there. We need to be able to put the swiper wrapper class with this ETEB Ajax pagination container. So we need to add the class in there, and we can't do it in the Divi builder. We need to do it with JavaScript. So we need to target that, and then if we go to the next line of code, let's copy that one, and let's paste it underneath this code. And yeah, we are creating a variable called blog posts, and here we are targeting again the blog module with our ID that we made of DG blog section, and then we are targeting each ETPB post. If you notice here, we say query selector all, which means we are targeting all the classes of ETPB post in the blog module. So if I go back to the front end, you'll see here, all these have a class of ETPB post. The next blog post has a class of ETPB post, and so on and so on. They all have that class. So we need to get those, well, we need to create variables for them. And if we go back to the code pen, let's grab the next 3 lines of code. So it's this way, it's if blog container, and then it's the closing curly braces. Let's copy that. And I'm sorry I'm doing it this way. I just think I can explain it better as we do it code by, or line by line of code. So over here we're saying if blog container, which remember is this variable we created here, add the class list. So we've got your blog container.classlist.add swiper wrapper, which is the class of swiper.js. So that means that we want to, over here where this class of ETPB Ajax pagination container is, we want to inject another class of swiper wrapper, I think it was. So if I go to this and I update this, and guys, you don't have to do this at what I'm explaining here. I'm just showing you how this is working. So don't worry about doing this and saving and that. You can save once we finished. So I've refreshed the page, and if okay, it's not there. I think it's because I forgot to save this when we added the class to the blog. So let's go back and refresh the page. Okay, so now you see, alongside ETPB Ajax pagination container, we now have the class of swiper wrapper, and that's because we've injected it using this code. Now, what we need to do, if we go back to the front end, into each posture, we need to put in the class of swiper slide. So if we go back to that code pen, and then we go for the next 3 lines of code, let's copy that. Come back to our plugin here. Put that in. So now this is saying we have to use a for loop here because there's more than one blog post. We need to loop through each blog post and find each blog post. So that's why we use this code here. And I'm not going to go into too much detail of the code. If you want to learn about this, you can use ChatGPT and paste the code in there and ask them to explain it to you. I just don't want these videos to get too long. But we're using a for loop here, and then we're targeting the blog posts. So each blog post, and then adding a class list of swiper slide. So if I update that, and I come to the front end and refresh the page, you'll now see that each post has swiper slide. There's swiper slide, there's swiper slide, there's swiper slide, there's swiper slide. So you can see each blog post now has that. So that's how you inject it. So if you need to use this on other modules where you can't use the row and column as your containers, this is how you inject the classes into the Divi HTML. Then what we can do, now we can get the rest of the code. Let's copy it and paste it in. And this code is exactly like the other videos we did. So it should be nothing new. If you guys haven't watched the first two videos, I suggest you do that before going through this. So we can update this. Let's come to the front end here. Refresh the page. So I've forgotten something, and we forgot to put the swiper in. So let's just copy that. Remember, that is a class we need in order for this to work. And we need to add that into the parent of the swiper wrapper, which is our DG blog section. So that we can actually add into the module. So if we go into the blog module, come to advanced, come to CSS IDN classes. Under CSS class, we can put the swiper in there, or the swiper class I should say in there. Let's save that. Let's come to the front end and refresh. Let me just close this. And there we go. There we go. So the blog now has a carousel slider, and there's our arrows. The arrows do work. I'll show you. The reason why they're up here is because we need to position them absolute as we did in the previous videos. So I think let's do that. So let's go to the Visual Builder. Let's click on this code. Now this we'll do to the actual codes because we can't do it to the row. We'll have to do it to the codes because we haven't put the navigations in columns or rows. We're just going to the code settings now, and we can go to position, and we can do absolute. And now which one is this one? This is the previous, so this is on the left hand screen. We'll just put it in the center and to the left. And if we go to the other one, go to advanced, position of absolute, and this one will be on the right center. We save that. We come in here and we refresh the page. You'll see now they are in the center. The thing is, we just need to be careful because we can't click on them. So we need to actually probably give them a Z index of 9 so they appear above the blog module. So let's save that. Then refresh the page. And now we can click them. And they work. So when you get to the last blog post, it stops and carry on. And yeah, you can put it, I think I only have 10 blog posts, and that's because of the settings in the blog module. But if I come here where the post count, you see how it's got 10, I think I have 12. So I can put in actually 12 and save. And because you'll see this only goes up to 3. But now if I refresh it and go through it, it should go up to 1. There we go. Now it goes up to 1 because I added all the blogs. So you can put as many blog posts as you want in this. And now click into one of the blog posts. And if you want to, let it loop through so that there's no end. If you watched the previous video, you saw how to add a loop function to the code so that it loops through. So I think the next thing we need to add is the pagination. So to do that, we can just add a row at the bottom here. So we can scroll all the way to the bottom. I can just add a row here. And let's put in a code module as we have with the other videos. And if we go to swiper here, we can just copy this opening div to the closing div with a class of swiper pagination. Come in here and paste it in there. And if you come to the code pen, you'll see I've also used another class there, which is this blog carousel pagination. And again, I just explained why I had to do this in the first video. So if you're not understanding why I did that, please go and watch the first video. So let's paste that class after swiper pagination like that. And we can save that. And let's refresh on the front end. And there's our pagination. So I hope this is is simple enough. I hope I've explained it simple enough. I probably haven't, because I'm not very good at explaining things. That's why I just give the code, because sometimes I can just go around in circles when I try to explain something. But you guys can do so much with a Swiper.js. There's so many, you'll see here, there's so many demos. So I do suggest you play around with it. The one thing that's not nice is like here as well, where the arrows are actually inside the container. I think with a blog module, it'll be easy to sort that out, because we can actually target just the blog module. So if we come here, and guys, sorry, you don't need to do this. I'll show you now where we're going to put the code. So if we come into blog module, we give this some padding of, let's say, 10M. No, it's not going to work. Like of 4M. Let's just make sure it works nicely. Yeah, so then at least you don't have this over your text. So if you can come into here and you go into the, where's the blog module now? I think it's in this row. Here we go. Design. And we come to spacing. And just on the right and left, you can just do 4M. Or whatever you want. You can do it in pixels. I'll just use M for padding and that. Let's save that and let's refresh. And there we go. So now it doesn't cover your blog text. So that is how we do a blog module, and I hope that was easy enough for you and you understood it. Again, if you have questions, please drop comments and I will help you, because I know my explaining is not the best. So I will help you if you've gotten stuck somewhere. So please let me know. Before I go, I just wanted to discuss the how responsive this is. So let's go to tablet. And I just want to refresh it because I had it on desktop. So refresh this when you change it to different screen sizes, so it takes effect. So you'll see on a tablet, we have it showing as one blog post that you can scroll through, and that's because if you look here at a breakpoint of up to, what was it? Oh, that's a blurb. Here we go. On phones, if you remember from the previous video, we start with phones, which shows one slide per view. Tablet still shows one slide per view, so we don't have to again declare it here because it's already declared there, and that's why it's showing as one there. We just adjusted the space between for each screen size, so that's up to from 767 pixels to 980 pixels, and then that's from 981 pixels and up, which is normally your desktop sizes, which will show 3 slides per view. And so if I go to phone, so that's tablet where it's 1 per view, and phone will be the same if I choose a phone. So if we go down, just let's refresh the page so we can get a proper view of it. Okay, what I think we just need to do, just want to see on the blog post here quickly. I think so the gap is too big. It's 60 pixels, so I have 60 there. So let's maybe change it to like 40. Just make sure you're working on the right one, which is a blog carousel. Let's update it. And if I refresh, so it has changed to 40. Oh, do you know what I think it is? Sorry. I think the 60 can stay. My bad, sorry. The 60 can stay. Did we have 60? Was it 60? I think it was 60. I can actually check here. Well, it was, 60. It's actually the padding I see that's making this all look squashed up. So if we go, there we go, to that, and we change this padding, let's maybe do something like 2M. So that's a bit tight, so maybe like 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 looks good. So we just come in here, let's change that. Let's go to phone. and put this on 2.5 rather. Save. So sorry guys, that's the padding. If we come and we refresh, yeah, that looks much better with the spacing. And then that also shows one view per slide. So sorry, I just wanted to also show you that. Again, any questions, just drop a comment. Thanks. Thanks very much guys for watching this video. If I didn't explain something well enough, or maybe you're getting stuck somewhere, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section, or you can send me an email. You'll find the link to my email address in the description, and I promise you I will help you out. In our last video tomorrow, we'll be using the WooCommerce module to build out a carousel slider. So I hope you do look forward to that. Then if you do need a website built and you feel you don't have the time or maybe the expertise to build the website, please feel free to reach out to me. You'll find a link to my website in the description. You can click on that link and you can book a free call with me there, and we can discuss the project and find out if I am a good fit for you. Then lastly, as a favor, please can I ask you to like this video. It will help this video get to more viewers. And then if you haven't subscribed, please can I ask you to consider subscribing, as that will help my channel out. If you're looking for any other type of Divi tutorials, please check this playlist that should be popping up right about now. And then maybe if you are looking for a certain tutorial and you can't find it, please drop a comment and then I can try build it out and then do a video recording the process. So that's it for now. We'll chat tomorrow. See you soon. Cheers.